What's up everyone, welcome to Kaiza's channel. With the Soul Blue Plasma Wing coming out in this month, we'll be doing a comparison of the Strike Freedom with the Tamashii Nation 2018 Soul Blue version, so that we can actually do a comparison on the Plasma Wing later when it's out. The Strike Freedom is one of the coolest Gundam ever came out in the Metal Build series, and the original version actually came out in 2015, while the Soul Blue version, believe it or not, it's actually 2018, which is already 2 years ago. Anyways, without wasting any more time, let's get started. First of all, the major difference is none other than the color itself. The original is basically the same color scheme as it is in the anime, while the Soul Blue version is just added a tint of blue overall, and that's why its name is Soul Blue, right? Well, not exactly. Although the overall looks on the parts is actually the same, the Soul Blue actually has definitely improved greatly in both the paints and also in the decals. So starting with the colors, the overall white part, the original one, is actually a semi-gloss white, while the Soul Blue is actually a matte white, which is very common nowadays, but not back then. As for the light gray on the original one, it has now become a very light gray with a tint of blue in it on the Soul Blue version. The red has also changed from a dark red to a much brighter red. As for the gold, the original one is a much more pale looking gold compared to the new one, which looks a lot sharper and brighter. You can also see that the gold joints on the original one is really rough and it doesn't look too nice, so the QC on it is actually quite bad. Unlike the Soul Blue version, which is really nice and smooth, so definitely the new one here looks absolutely great. As for the black on the body and the wings, it used to be a metallic black with sparkles in it, in which I like very much, but it has now become a matte black and a tone of blue in it almost look as if it's a very dark purple, which I honestly don't very like very much. Finally is the blue. Just like the black, the blue on the original looked fantastic with the metallic blue, but for the Soul Blue version, it has now become somewhat of a purple matte color, which looks kind of weird. I was hoping that they would keep at least these colors as metallic, but turns out they all become a matte color. Like I mentioned before, aside from the color, the decals has greatly improved as well. Overall, there are actually these small decals on it that's added onto the Soul Blue version, which was not there on the original one, and it absolutely looks fantastic. As for the bigger decals, the left shoulder logo is actually the same design, although the Soul Blue version is actually a lot more apparent than it is on the original one. As for the front thigh piece, there actually isn't the strip of blue decals anymore. The 010 logo on the left leg is also now gone on the Soul Blue version, which is a good thing because I actually think it looks weird on that area. So good thing that they actually took that off. Then on to the ankle guard, which there's actually a decal on the left side. Now it has now on both sides. As for the wings, where the dragoons are, you can actually clearly see that the new gold lines added on them makes them look extremely nice. Not that the original was bad, but this extra lining gives it a very nice finish touch on it. So besides the coloring, both of them are essentially the same. However, I must say that the joints are somewhat loose on the original one, while the Soul Blue is fairly tight. This is most likely due to the same common issues with the earlier metal builds where their joints are easily loosened. Moving on to the armaments, both of them has exactly the same armaments. You have the two beam rifles, the two beam sabers and its effect, and also the beam shields. Starting with the beam rifle, just like the body, the white and blue are different, but aside from that, they're pretty much the same with one exception. As you can see right now, the model numbers of the two are totally different, and it's the same for both the rifles. The MAM21KF is actually the rifle's model number, while the MGX2235 is actually the beam cannon located on the Strike Freedom stomach area. Not only that, but the little 6-digit number is also different as well. According to the official Bandai website for the original Strike Freedom, which I will include the link in the description below, it actually decodes the first 3 digits, 100, as the Eternal ship, while the remaining 3-digit 010 stands for Strike Freedom, and of course 020 for Infinity Justice. And this matches the number on the shoulder as well. So this is definitely interesting why such a mistake got through when the original had it correctly. Next we have is the beam saber handle. There's actually a very minor change beside the white. The black color area is now a dark blue, while the center area was colored in metallic silver, but now it's actually a very light gray. You can hardly see it. So seems like it's actually slacked off a bit on the new version. The beam effects is pretty much the same. Don't notice much difference between the two other than that the Soul Blue version is a little more transparent. Finally is the beam shield. Now it's actually pretty hard to see, but the original one has a tone of pink in it, but the Soul Blue one also has it, but it's so faint that you can hardly tell. So the original actually you can see that there's a gradient between the blue and also to the pink, while the Soul Blue version looks almost completely as a blue. Now since both of them are essentially the same, so the gimmick wise both of them are also exactly the same. As for the display stand, it's actually totally different. The original one is a white base with blue lines on it. You can also see that there's actually this gold wings right above the Strike Freedom's name, and underneath that you have is the pilot's name. While the Soul Blue version is a completely black base with a simple gold linings design on it. Here, there's actually only the model number and also the Strike Freedom name on it. An interesting thing is that the 6-digit that I mentioned before, here it's actually correct with the 010 ending. So someone should really proofread these small prints before going into production, so that we don't have the same mistake here printed all over a limited edition. Both of the display stand actually looks good on their own, so it's actually quite difficult for me to decide between the two. However, not only is the color and design are different, the Soul Blue version actually have these 3 pieces that you can put together to form a supporting arm by adding it onto the display arm to support the long rifle when you're displaying. Now I really like these supporting arms, although it doesn't really look nice when you're displaying them, but it definitely helps so that the arm doesn't bear all the weights on it, causing the joints to loosen up. So definitely these supporting arms are very thoughtful from Bandai. In conclusion, which one should I choose between the two? Well, essentially both of them is the same with the exception of the coloring and the decals. The decals are done extremely well on the Soul Blue version and all the joints are nice and tight. Not only that, but it also comes with an additional supporting arms that the original one doesn't have. Overall, everything seems to be better on the Soul Blue version than the original one. However, I actually prefer the metallic black and also the blue coloring on the original one. Also, the misprinted text on the Soul Blue version also became an eyesore for me once you notice it. But between the two, if I have to choose, I'll definitely choose the Soul Blue version over the original one. So for you guys, if you need to choose between the two, if the price is relatively the same, I'll definitely suggest you to get the Soul Blue version over the original one. But of course, if the price is way higher than that, then maybe you can consider the original one instead, since they're basically the same. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it and find it useful. As always, do support me by hitting that like button and also subscribe to my channel for more videos. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.